Good morning. It is Saturday, February the 19th, February the 20th, and I am posting this as an update to our live in-person gatherings. As you know, we have been fully virtual for the last few weeks, and we are getting ready to regather for in-person worship. All of the information that I'm going to share with you will be posted later today to greenleybaptistchurch.com, and you'll be able to go and see all of this information that I'll be sharing with you. I want to let you know that there's been a lot of prayer, a lot of discussion about our gatherings, and we have decided, I've worked with the deacons and decided that officially next Sunday, February the 28th, we will regather for in-person worship. Now, for us to do this, and also for us to continue doing this, we're going to have to make sure that we are all working together to adhere to some guidelines. These guidelines are in place for your safety and the safety of your family, as well as our volunteers and other church members. So I'm going to go over these very quickly with you and try to be as thorough, but also as quick as I can. And I'm also going to ask you in this to please help us by helping to follow these guidelines. Again, they're there for our safety, and the better we are at following the guidelines now, the more it ensures that we will be able to continue to gather for worship, and also that we'll be able to open up other ministry opportunities for our church in the future. At this time, I do want to let you know that we're only going to be gathering for Sunday morning worship services. All of our in-person Sunday school groups and other discipleship groups, as well as our children and youth gatherings, will be added in at a later date. So let's go over these guidelines with you. First of all, when you come on Sunday mornings, you'll need to wait for an usher to seat you. Because we have limited space, we want to make sure that we utilize our space as well as possible. And so when you arrive, if you'll stand at the door leading into the sanctuary and allow an usher to help you find a seat, we'll be seating people from the front of the sanctuary to the back in order to maximize all of the space that we have. So wait for an usher to seat you. We're going to ask you when you arrive until you get in your seat, and when you leave your seat, to please wear a mask. We are taking this precaution to slow and prevent the spread of germs when we're up moving around. When you're in your seat, masks are optional, but until you're seated and when you dismiss, or if you get up to leave and go to the restroom, we're asking that you wear masks. I also want to ask you to please sit only with people in your household. This limits the spread of any kind of germs, and this limits our interaction, and it allows you to be with the people that came with you. You'll be able to wave and greet people from a distance, but we're also going to ask you to stay in your spot once you're seated and sit only with people from your household. Also, we will be providing masks in the foyer. If you come to church and you forget a mask, we'll have some masks there for you, and you'll be able to grab one of those if you need one. Just let one of our ushers in the foyer know. During the service right now, we're going to remain seated throughout the duration of the service. I know this is uncomfortable. This is not ideal. We all want to stand up and sing. We all want to stand up and have the freedom to do that. But right now, we are just going to be mindful and be careful. And for the first, for a few weeks, probably, we'll be seating during the worship service. And I hope you'll understand our caution in this. And sitting down during worship is a small price to pay for being able to actually be in the room together. Also, when we finish the service, we'll be dismissing in stages by rows and sections. This just a continued measure to make sure that we don't have any log jams in the aisles and we don't have people on top of people. And that will allow us from the back to the front to dismiss in an orderly fashion, and also in a way that allows us to maintain proper distancing as we dismiss. I also want to encourage you, once you're in your seat, to refrain from moving around the sanctuary. I know that it is going to be very tempting to get up and walk over and stand and talk and visit, but we just want to be safe, and we want to be very very careful about how much we interact with one another in close proximity. So send a text, wave a hand. Until the worship service starts, you can shout, you can pull your mask down and speak to somebody, but just stay in your space and try to do any visiting or connecting that you can from there. And then also, this reiterates another point. If when we're dismissing, don't stand in the foyer and talk, or in the foyer and talk. Don't stand in the aisles and talk. When we dismiss, we're going to ask you to dismiss on out the building so that we can keep a good traffic flow and ensure that we don't have any unnecessary gathering in close proximity. When you get into the parking lot, if you want to be responsible with how you visit, you're welcome to. But while we're in the building, please refrain from just gathering and staying in one spot. These have been and continue to be just really unusual days. I honestly thought that we would have been beyond this by now, but we aren't. However, we have some promising signs locally with the number of COVID cases that are being reported. We also have the vaccine that is in the county, and I know that probably some that are going to see this video have already been vaccinated. And we are just getting used to hopefully being very smart about how we go about our business. Please, when you come to church, be mindful of these things. If you have folks that have been wanting to come and haven't, make sure they're aware of these. Like I said, this afternoon, this information will all go up on our webpage, greenleabaptistchurch.com, and you'll be able to go there and see all of these things listed out. Also, the first of the week next week, a letter is going to go home with all of this information in it as well. I had hoped we'd be able to gather tomorrow, February the 21st, but we have not been able to give the church a thorough cleaning. And so one of the things that we want to do before we bring everybody back in is give the facilities a thorough cleaning and disinfecting to make sure it is as clean as we can be and as safe and as prepared as we can be. I have so missed seeing your smiling faces or your smiling eyes as we've been in worship. And I know that many of you have been connecting with us on Facebook and YouTube and will continue to do so. And like I said, hopefully in the next few weeks, we'll be able to add in other gathering opportunities, but we're going to watch this and make sure that when we get back together, we're doing it the right way and the safe way. And again, I will say to you that part of us being able to add more ministry opportunities in is us adhering to these guidelines and being very careful when we come together. So go ahead and mark your calendar and make your plans for next Saturday, February the 28th, or next Sunday, February the 28th. To come back to church and gather with us in person. If you happen to see this and you're not a member of Greenlee Baptist Church and you've been biding your time, waiting for an opportunity to get in church when COVID starts to settle down, I would love for you to be my guest at Greenlee for an in-person worship service beginning next Sunday, February the 28th. I am confident that we can all work together to make our worship services safe, and I'm confident that we can all come back together to enjoy being in the same room, worshiping the Lord together. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, Jonathan at greenleabaptistchurch.com. I'll answer whatever questions I can. But please make sure you go over these and you're aware of what our protocols are when you come back for in-person worship next Sunday. One more thing I do want to mention is if you bring children, we will be trying to offer an extended session nursery. And when we do that, we will be checking the temperature of our volunteers, and we'll also be checking the temperature of the children that go into the extended session rooms, just to make sure that everybody is safe. So please don't hesitate to reach out. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. I love you and I miss you, and I can't wait to be back together with you again. And I will see you tomorrow online, and hopefully next Sunday, Lord willing, together as we gather in God's house to worship Him. Take care, and I will see you soon. God bless.